Hi there, folks. It's Jonathan Denwood here from WP-Tonic. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of Cloudways, an innovative and interesting hosting provider in the WordPress space. Got a ton of experience with them, got a load of experience with WordPress as well. I'll be back in a few moments, folks. Coming back, folks, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of Cloudways. No affiliate links here. This is just going to be a plain talking and honest review here. Got a ton of experience in the hosting space and the WordPress area as well. Now, Cloudways started about 6-7 years ago. It's a Pakistani company based in Pakistan. About 2 to 3 years ago, it got bought out by one of the providers that it offered on its platform. It got bought out by DigitalOcean. Now, it got a lot of traction in the WordPress quasi-professional space. In this space, you have a lot of people that are always looking for the best deal with the best performance, and this crowd always oscillates from one favorite to the other. One of the realities of the hosting space around WordPress is that there's a lot of legacy providers out there that don't offer a fantastic service. The hosting industry is a very interesting industry when it comes to the business of hosting, because it has some major players that have multiple brands, but is owned by one company. But the actual whole industry is still highly fragmented with a lot of very small players. To me, it seems to be dominated by a handful of very large players and then a host of boutique players. And Cloudway, because fundamental forces in the hosting industry through technology, hosting was changing because of cloud-based providers like Microsoft with Azure, with Google Cloud, with Amazon Web Services. They were providing virtual servers that are based on physical servers, but it's utilizing modern technology like Docker, droplets. I'm not going to go into it all here, but take my word for it. One of the strong areas of Cloudways was that they were introducing these new cloud virtual server providers and offering them in a way that mere mortals could use them. I say mere mortals, really aimed at the WordPress professional crowd. Now, I'm not having a go at that crowd because I'm one of them, but I'm just going to tell you straight. I haven't met a developer yet that didn't fancy themselves as a Linux administrator. It just goes with the territory. And most of them, not all of them, but most of them aren't up to the job. They over exaggerate because they can do a few Linux command lines. They think they're a professional Linux administrator. What one of the things, like I say, they were providing access to these new cloud offering with an interface that mere mortals, tech people that weren't Linux administrators, but had technical knowledge though, could utilize it and swap from a list of cloud bare metal providers that I've already linked, but there was about half a dozen, and you could migrate yours or customer's website from one of these cloud-based providers in the Cloudways interface. And you could do backups, retrievals in an interface with a degree of technical support. Cloudways was never aimed at the mere business owner who doesn't just wants their website to be hosted and for it to be secure and for it to be up most of the time and have good performance. Uh, you you still need a degree of knowledge around WordPress and about the language of hosting to utilize Cloudways. Now, like I say, 2 to 3 years ago, one of these bare metal providers, as I call them, DigitalOcean, actually bought Cloudways. And in business terms, this is a bit of a contradiction. One of your main attractions to the WordPress professional market was that you could choose from half a dozen providers and switch websites if you got fed up with one of those providers. And one of those providers was DigitalOcean, and now they've bought the platform. Obviously there's a bit of a conflict there, and it shows up because, for understandable reasons, if you set up a Cloudflare account, they push DigitalOcean. They haven't removed, um, it oscillates. They removed the possibility, especially Vulture and a couple others. They still allow you to move to Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services. They tend to allow you to use other platforms that are more expensive than DigitalOcean. That's just the reality, and I think it's only to be expected. Another area that's caused a bit of a stir is the reality is that Cloudways support was always, in my opinion, a bit iffy. It could be really good or it could be really mediocre. It was also, you had to have a certain degree of technical knowledge for them to really help you. They expected you to know the language of hosting, as I called it. And if you didn't, they they really couldn't help you that much. So it was fine if you had somebody that could talk that language and knew how to explain the problem in a certain technical language. If you couldn't, you wouldn't find Cloudways support. Now, they DigitalOcean has cut back on Cloudways staff, and the support, I think, has been affected, in my opinion. Now, but it's not all bad news, because there was another issue here, and this is really my opinion. And you can take it for what it is, but it's my honest opinion. I always had problems with Cloudways. And why did I have problems with it? Well, they were based in Pakistan. I've got to be honest with you. Now, I would have problems if your servers were based in China. I would have problems if your servers were based in Russia. I would have problems if your servers were based in Iran. Can you see where I'm going at? Obviously, other people would be shocked by my attitude, and I would be accused of all sorts of things. I can assure you that it's got nothing to do with what some other people would say were the reasons why I'm saying this. It's purely security. I just do not trust any technical company based in Pakistan, because I consider Pakistan not to be a really functioning democracy. And I think there's definitely, and the influence of the Pakistan Security Service is all embracing in that country. That's my opinion. And yeah, And I wouldn't, if you're a small company, a regional player, whatever, it might not bother you, but it bothers me basically. So I was never that particularly very nice people. I'm not having a go at the people that worked for Cloudways or um, the founders or the owners of the company. I'm just putting my opinion. They were based in Pakistan. It's very difficult to clearly get a picture of what the situation is now. Obviously, they are owned by Digital Ocean, but how much of the company is still run in Pakistan is extremely difficult to determine. And I don't have those internal resources to speak to find the situation. I'm a member of various forums on the internet, and there's a lot of chatter out there. And by that chatter, it seems a lot of the key personnel is still based in Pakistan. And if that means that the servers are based in Pakistan, virtual, or key data is based in Pakistan, I have problems with that. Now, when it comes to the prices, they have gone up since Digital Ocean has bought, especially if you're not utilizing Digital Ocean. Why was it attractive? Well, and it's to some degree for the right customer, it's still attractive, is that a lot of the hosting, and this is still the situation, a lot of the hosting out there is on legacy hardware from companies that have a very mediocre reputation for support and keeping their tech stack up to date. There are a lot of it's very price driven, and there's a lot of players out there that got a very mediocre reputation in the WordPress professional space. I'm not going to name names because I just don't want to get into that. Just take my word for it. And some of them are very, very large companies. Um, and also price, for what you got, there's a lot of WordPress professional crowd that try and go to the bare metal, and they put a skin on top of the server that gives them a visual control. They can get into trouble quite quickly because they just don't have that deep technical knowledge to really administrate the setup, in my opinion. Obviously, there are it's more easier to manage servers and virtual servers than it used to be. It really was very hardcore. It's become easier, but I think where the knowledge breaks down is when something really serious goes wrong, and they tend to just have a backup and they move it to another droplet, another virtual setup, and that normally works. But I've known occasions where that hasn't worked. Um, yeah. Um, but the price and performance was very, very popular because it was great value compared. And because of that, people tended to push in the background that this company was based in Pakistan. And like I say, I always had a problem with it, right? Um, so but with DigitalOcean entering the market, buying it's no longer the price to performance metrics doesn't really match what it used to be. So people are moving to other providers that are, in the professional WordPress scenario, are the flavour of the month. It tends to oscillate, folks, every year, every couple of years. When I first got into it, there was a hosting provider called Media Temple. They were the flavour of the year. If you were in professional you were a WordPress professional, you hosted your websites and Media Temple. They got bought out, and then I think they're still in business. I'm not even sure. WP Engine, still dominant, but they got bought out by a VC. Still a reputable hosting company, but nowhere as good as when the founder was running it. And it just is this. I've seen this story play time after time. And also, if you want cloud hosting, some of the best, especially if you like DigitalOcean, and but you're looking for support and an interface. I think one of the strongest factors is the interface that Cloudways provides. It's still a much easier interface than if you were trying on other, there's loads of legacy servers that you still provide cPanel, which is if you're definitely not technically minded, it's just a dog's breath, in my opinion, but that's it. So I've tried to give you an honest opinion about it. And what that is, if you've got somebody in your organization that's technically minded and you're looking for DigitalOcean and you're looking for a good interface with good technical support, if you can talk their language, you're going to be happy. If you're not what I've described, I think there's better solutions out there at the beginning of 2025. I'll see you soon, folks. Bye.